Firstly, when creating my film magazine cover, I had to select the image that I would like as the cover. So I went onto my photos and I took a series of pictures which I wanted to use, that I knew I wanted, and it kind of narrowed it down to these three, which I'm about to show you. It was this photo, the next one, and this one. I then chose this one because I really liked the angle that her eyes were at, like sort of behind the camera, and I thought the angle of the actual picture being taken was very thriller film cover-ish. I thought it would fit the magazine cover really well. So I then went on to the editing software that I used on Google Chrome, which I found really good, and so I uploaded the image and then went into the touch-up section, and she had a blemish on her face which I really wanted to edit out because I wanted her to have sort of like a flawless looking finish all around her eyes and everything, as I thought this was kind of a bit, in a way, very creepy, and it would make her look a lot more flawless, and it would also then look a bit more professional rather than having like spots and lines made evident on her face. After this, I wanted to highlight other aspects of her face too, so I used the mascara tool to darken her eyes a bit around the outside, and I also used another tool which was the eye colour tool to enhance the colour of her eyes. I did it a lighter blue to make them more piercing and for it to look more striking for the audience when they see the magazine. I also did the same for the lips. I enhanced the colour of those and sort of changed the colour a bit to make it look more professional and like she just had her makeup done for the shoot. After this, I was pretty much done with the editing for that, and then I went back onto Adobe InDesign after I saved it and imported it on there by using FilePlace. After that, it was basically the text that I needed to do, so I came up with the name of my cover, which was my magazine, which was Retake. I thought this was a good name, and as it referred to films. So I used a lot of different effects on this. I used the drop shadow, inner glow, and basic feather. The drop shadow gave it more depth and made it stand out more on the page, which I thought was really good, and I'm glad I chose this. As you can see, the difference here is a lot different. Then I chose the basic feather, which basically fanned out throughout the title and made it look like it was fading out, and I also used this on the title for my poster, and I really liked this effect. Next, it was the different taglines for my film magazine cover. I looked up others which were done, and I really liked the way they used this plus sign in a lot of them. I can't remember what magazine it was that did it, but I really liked the way it used this. I also did a winning sticker because a lot of them had prizes to win inside, and they used this sort of stamp. So I went on to creating a shape here, and I created this circle shape and then put the text inside with two contrasting colours for the white and red to make it stand out. Yep, and then after this I created my title, which I used a similar sort of font to I did on my poster, but a bit different to give it something, unique to the film magazine, so it wasn't completely copied. I used lots of effects for this, like the drop shadow, inner and outer glow, and the satin was what made it a lot different from the poster, as it gave it sort of a silk effect to it. I also put the names of the stars at the bottom of the page because I saw a lot of magazines did this. I just did this by creating a text box at the bottom of the page, and it took me a while to find the right font to use for this, but eventually I found ones which were similar to others that other magazine companies used. Next, I found a barcode, which I found on Google, and it actually took me a while to find which barcode I wanted, as a lot of them were obviously made up and either too long or too short, but I found this one. After this, I went over all the taglines that I used and actually added a drop shadow. As you can see, without the drop shadow, it looks quite bland, and it was like that for everything, and I really didn't like the way it looked, and I was really happy once I added the drop shadow, as it really brought everything out of the page and looked really good. I also added this bit at the top, as I saw other magazines did this too, and took inspiration from that, where I basically added a shape at the top, filled it in red. I also used a basic feather on this to fade it out, so it wasn't so harsh, as I thought that looked a bit tacky and a bit unprofessional. And then I added words over the top. I used spaced out words, so it made it easy to read and didn't look like it was too cramped. And after I had added that, I was all finished. So then I went to File and to Export and bumped up the high quality and saved it as a JPEG, and then I had finished my magazine.